In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you one key secret or one basic secret, if I can actually put it like this, that can actually make a tremendous difference in your life as far as you are concerned and as far as the outcome you are currently actually facing are concerned. All right? You don't want to miss this one. Welcome to Mountain of Inspiration. My name is Dimitri. I am the gentleman who's simply on fire about seeing you jet propel to your next level or dimension as far as your journey to health, wealth, or spirituality is concerned. I am based in Canada, more specifically in the city known as Toronto. So if you're ever looking for me, now you know how and where to find me. All right, let's get started. Two basic examples. Before I get to the example, let me just actually lay the foundations for what I'm going to actually share with you. You can actually sit there for as long as you want and actually complain about the state of your life right now, the circumstances that basically surrounding you. You can complain about the economy. You can complain about everything else that could have been actually going right as far as you are concerned. But until and unless you come to a place where you're going to simply say to yourself, my goodness, for some reason, I don't like the way that this bus has been running. I don't like the itinerary that this bus has been taking. I don't like the route that this bus is actually taking, until you actually get to that particular place and ask yourself the key question: what is it I need to do in order for this bus to start moving in a different direction and moving at a different speed? Until you ask yourself the same question, my friend, chances are things are still going to be exactly where they are. But here's the funny thing. The bus ride that you're getting right now, going from A to B, the bus ride that you're actually not enjoying so much right now, you have to come to realize when you ask yourself the key question is, my goodness, the reason why this bus is not moving or this bus has been stuck in its position is because I am the driver. You are the bus driver supposed to actually come from the back wherever you're actually sitting all the way to the front and simply grab the wheel and says, I am now going to be in charge. I'm going to start the engine and I'm going to move this car from wherever it is now to the next level. And until and unless you do that, the bus is going to be stuck in the same position and you can complain all day long about the environment in which the bus is seemingly stuck. Complain about you don't like basically what you're seeing until you come to a place where you actually own the fact that you're the bus driver and stop acting as a bus rider. Things are still going to remain the way they are. Two basic examples now I'm going to actually use to actually illustrate the fact that yes, when a leader simply come to realize that yes, I'm the one in charge now. I am basically the one running the show. I am not the one basically in the background simply waiting for my turn to actually come to do anything, but I am the one basically on stage and all eyes are basically on me. All eyes are on you. So basically the state of basically the show depends on your ability to perform at a particular level. If you're not performing, guess what? Your show is going to be basically not so great. But when you decide to actually perform, you put your whole heart and effort into what you're going to do, guess what? Your show is going to be completely sold out and people are going to forever remember you as the woman or the man who came to simply deliver an outstanding performance. Again, you are in charge, not only of what actually in front of you, but also what they call in business the white spaces. So basically, on paper, they can tell you, yes, you're in charge of A, B, C, D, and you're not A, B, C, that basically your array of competence, that's what you actually called to actually speak to. But there's always going to be somewhere, something that basically not going to be on paper, but you have to speak to. That's what we call white spaces. So not just for the black spaces that are clearly written down on paper, but also for the white spaces that no one has actually spoken about as far as your role and responsibility are concerned. You are in charge of both these things, and until and unless you take the charge, you simply come to a place where you realize that yes, I am the person in charge, I am the bus driver, I am the running the show, and the show is about me. I'm the one-man show that needs to get up there and make things happen while people in the background are simply supporting me. Until unless you do that, things are still going to remain exactly as they are. Two basic examples. Let me start with one that most people actually know. 1861, this young man by the name of Abraham Lincoln, and when I say young, he was actually tall. Young by the time because he was young compared to the people around him. Young man comes to the forefront and elected as the president of the United States of America. But unfortunately for him, when he became president of the United States of America, that also coincides with the time that basically all the nation in the South one after the other, side simply is talking in terms of secession. They say to themselves, no, we can no longer be part of America as America is defined, because our values and beliefs are so far apart, so different, that we can actually stay together as one tribe or one nation or as one country. So we have to go our separate ways. But of course, as they say that, it was all to their advantage, because in terms of power, in terms of economy, the economy of the South was actually doing much better than the economy of the North. So politically and economically speaking, by the time they say we're going to actually go and actually build our own country, we're going to actually create what we call confederacy, the North was basically in trouble. And that's when basically this young man by the name of Abraham Lincoln was elected President of the United States of America, to be sworn in sometime in March 1861. In the meantime, of course, one state after the other were basically saying, yeah, it's time for actually to move into confederacy. And before you know it, they have basically their own president by the name of Jefferson Davis. Jefferson Davis, when he's actually appointed president of the Confederacy, is a man of stature, not because he was a politician, a public servant, but he was also a trained military that had actually graduated from West Point and served in many different wars in America. So they knew that this man was a man of substance that could put something completely amazing on the table when it comes to strategies. So again, Jefferson Davis and his amazing writing comment, Robert Lee as a general, while now looking at this young man by the name of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln said, you know what, I've come on this bus. As far as I'm concerned, I am not going to be a bus rider. I am going to be here as the bus driver. And as the driver, I have to figure out exactly, I'm going to skillfully maneuver this bus from wherever it is now to the next level, so I can actually find a way to create a sense of unity as far as this country is concerned. While people thought this was completely impossible as a task, he said, watch me, because I know by virtue of my position, I am now the man in charge. I am now the driver. I can no longer complain about the fact that yes, it is bad. Things are happening around me. The economy is really bad. The South is taking all the money. The conference, they're taking it with them. They decide to create their own country. The North is basically weak. We don't know what's going to happen. They are so strong. Not only that, but also when it comes to the international economy, the European countries such as the Great Britain, such as France, were all siding with the South. So technically speaking, it was just a matter of time before this whole thing could collapse. But Abraham Lincoln says, I am the bus driver. I'm going to figure out a way to turn things around and to skillfully maneuver this bus out of this completely messy situation. And that's exactly what he did. Within 4 years, he managed to actually basically stop this powerful confederacy and bring them to a place where basically he was even able to get Jefferson Davis arrested and basically thrown in jail. And that's basically the power of actually saying to yourself, it's not about the circumstances, it's about my decision to realize that I'm not the bus rider, I'm the bus driver, and I'm in charge, and whatever I think, whatever I conceive in my mind, whatever I can hold in my mind, I'm going to hold also in my hands. Example number one. Example number two. Let's now move to 1920. More specifically, July 21st, 1920. Out of this place in England was a ship by the name of SS Olympics, actually traveling from Europe all the way to New York City, the city of dreamers. And as this ship is actually moving towards New York City, on this ship there was a young man that was actually known as Archibald Alexander Leach. Archibald Alexander Leach, when he actually went to the passport office to actually get his first passport at age 16, they asked him the key question, what is your profession? He says, my profession is actor. So I identify with the profession of acting, so I'm going to actually go on and become an actor. But under his belt, when it comes to his training, he had only been trained as an acrobat. Basically, that's what he was doing back in Europe. And he graduated recently as an acrobat. It was slowly moving towards what they call pantomime, which is a form of acting that was actually very popular in Europe. But as far as America is concerned, he was not on the same level. But he was still seeing himself declaring Paul he was an actor. So he was actually traveling now with his group of acrobats and other actors that are watching very good at pantomime that actually traveled to America, and the name of the group was Pender Group. As he arrives in America, he quickly realized that, you know what, it's about time for me to realize that, yes, I can no longer be just a bus rider. I can no longer just be depending on the pendant group to actually take me from one point to another. I can no longer actually just look around and simply say, my goodness, I am where I am because, of course, at one point, my older brother actually died when he was actually young. My father and my mom basically never actually got over that tragedy. And from that point, my mom's situation, my aunt's mental health started going down to a point where eventually she disappeared, because somehow my dad decided to actually get her institutionalized. And because he was not really good when it comes to school, he started to drop out at one point and he started to basically get expelled. And now for him to actually get onto the road and to become an acrobat, he said to himself, now basically I can no longer put the blame on society. I can no longer put the blame on Panda Troop. I can no longer put the blame on anyone. I have to put basically the blame on myself and look at myself and see myself. If I don't like the state of my life right now, I have to ask myself the key question. You are the bus driver. So what are you going to do about it? So he said, I'm going to actually basically start with the first order business. I need to actually find a way to create a name that's going to be basically consistent with where I want to go. And that name can no longer be Archibald Alexander Leach. That name is going to be Gary Grant. And basically from that point, he put together the persona that he was going to actually have as far as the future is concerned. And as the driver, as far as the bus is concerned, he said, I'm responsible for the white lines and also for the black spaces of my life. So whatever is on paper as to my responsibility and roles, and whatever is not on paper as my responsibility and roles, as long as it speaks to my life, I'm going to be the one in charge. I'm going to find a way to make things happen. And guess what? Just like that, a legend was born. And by the time he retired from the world of acting around the early 1970s, this man had left behind a legacy that spoke to his ability to transform himself from a bus rider to a bus driver, and someone who would put together an amazing body of work that still speaks to many generations long after he has actually left the scene. Why? Because he understood one thing, that he was now from that point going to be seen as the bus driver and no longer the bus rider. So as far as you and I are concerned in this season, the only one thing that we have to actually consider is the one key question. So as far as your life is concerned, if you don't like where you are, if you don't like where you live, if you don't like basically the work that you do right now, if you don't like the industry in which you work right now, if you don't like the place where you actually live as far as community is concerned, the key question you have to be asking right now is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be a bus driver, or are you going to be the bus driver? If you're going to be a bus driver, then the whole situation can be changed once you decide to simply become the man or the woman in charge of your life. Know exactly what you want to achieve, know exactly where you want to go, and basically come up with an amazing vision and goals and steps to take over the next few years, and basically be committed to taking all the steps you have to take to actually move to the next level, and see how your life will going to slowly but surely change, and you're going to actually transform into a magnificent masterpiece that you were designed to be. All right. Let me stop here right now. But before I go, let me just say one more thing again. Thank you so much for your continued support as far as Mountain Inspiration is concerned. So looking forward to share more with you in the next few days. Until then, take good care. Remember to actually share this video with as many people as possible. To like the video, leave a comment, let us know basically what you're working on and how we can be of assistance as far as your journey is concerned. All right, I'm out. Love you so much. Take good care.